What is going on, everybody? I'm Serge Drobin here at Fagan's Fretboard Academy in Tucson, Arizona. If you want lessons, I have a link in the description below. Today we're going to be talking about the infamous sweep picking that everybody is always kind of afraid of, it seems like, when they first dabble in it, but it really isn't that scary at all, and it's actually not even that difficult. So today we're going to talk about how to do that, how to make it simple for yourself, and how to build speed with it and endurance. The first thing I want to talk to you about when it comes to sweep picking actually has nothing to do with this hand, but it has everything to do with this hand, okay? If you watch a lot of my videos, you'll definitely know that I talk heavily about how to hold a guitar pick properly. In 90% of circumstances, I would say, in terms of proper technique for guitar playing, have to do with holding your guitar pick, okay? You definitely want to avoid flat picking entirely. If you find yourself picking the strings flat like this, you want to break that habit as soon as you can, because if you can point your pick at a 45-degree angle when you hit the string, it's going to make this technique and a lot of other ones so much easier for you. The first thing I want you to notice is the aerodynamics of my hand when I sweep pick. So if I go across all the strings, you're going to see my pick go at that 45-degree angle this way. And what's happening here? I'm hitting the very front edge only of the guitar pick. Okay, it's making it so I don't get stuck on the strings. Now when I go the other way and I sweep pick, I'm actually using the back edge of the pick, all right? So it makes the aerodynamics of your pick make a lot more sense, actually, when you get into sweep picking. It all starts making sense. Let's talk about the pattern that we're going to use. If you've watched my other videos on major and minor triads, you'll probably find these shapes familiar. So we're going to start with just 3 notes. We're going to do a minor triad, okay? We're going to do an A minor triad right here. It's going to be across the 14th fret of the G string, the 13th fret of the B string, and the 12th fret of the E string. And then we are going to hit this octave note, which is on the 17th fret of the E string. That is the A octave. Okay, here's what it's going to sound like. All right, so check it out. Your hand is going to be turning a little bit. So sweep picking is very much like a scooping motion. The first thing you want to get used to, other than knowing this shape really well and being familiar with that, is being able to push your pick across all the strings that you need to play while simultaneously pulling each one of these fingers off on your left hand every time you're done with that string. Okay, it's going to look like this in slow motion. So I play a note, and you'll see that my right hand gets stuck here on the B string. So I push the guitar pick into the B string and I leave it there. Then, as soon as I hit the next note, which is on the B string of the 13th fret, I push the guitar pick into the E string and I leave it there while pulling my previous finger off of the G string. So here's just the first 2 notes again. Okay, and the reason I pull this finger off is so I don't bleed the notes together, obviously, like that. You don't want a chord sound. You want it to be individual notes, okay? So again, I push my pick into the next string that I'm going to play, but I don't play that string. I just push it there and I leave it. So there's the B string, and then there's the pushing it into the E string, and then I push it off of all the strings because I'm playing the highest string. So as soon as I get to this note right here on the E string, I hammer on and pull off of the 17th fret of the same string. So it sounds like this. Because what I'm going to do is mid-air, while that's happening, I'm going to flip my hand around a little bit so I can hit the back side here of the guitar pick on my way up, and then I flip it back to go down. So it's a constant motion of doing this with the pick, so that way you never get stuck on the strings while you're doing this technique. So here's what it looks like in slow motion. I'm going up the strings, getting stuck on each, and I'm stopping on each string when I'm done with it. And now here's what I did. I flipped my pick and I'm going to hit the B string, and I stop on the G string before I play it, and then I stop on the D string when I'm going to play this last note that was on the 15th fret of the G string. So it's a constant, like almost a scooping motion of your hand across the strings. You'll see this even more to the fullest extent when I add the rest of this arpeggio, which I'll put the tabs for on the screen here. This is the full version of this A minor arpeggio going, starting on the A string of the 12th fret, which is an A note. And here's what that sounds like. Here's the rule of thumb when it comes to sweep picking. Anytime you have two notes on a shared string, you're usually going to do a hammer-on or a pull-off for those two notes, okay? So like for example, here's the 12th fret and the 15th fret. I'm going to do a hammer-on, so it doesn't slow me down. I don't have to do two pick strokes, I just do one. That's the whole point of sweep picking. You just want everything to be a fluent motion here. You're sweeping through the string. So here's the first two notes, hammer-on. And then I bar this, the next two notes here on the next group of two notes here, which is on the D string and the G string of the 14th fret, and I roll my finger across these strings so I can let go. This is something you have to practice, guys. If you're not used to rolling your fingers across the strings, you really got to practice this. So here's my hammer-on, and then I hit the 14th fret, roll, roll. See how I muted that last string? And then I continue to the shape we just did, 13th fret B string, E string, 12th fret, hammer on, pull off, and then back down the way I came. And notice that there's no string noise because every time I'm done with that string, I take my finger off of it, or in this case when it's barred, I'm rolling off of it. That's the technique for this hand. And you'll notice that with this hand, I did the exact same thing. Every time I rake through a string, I stop on the next one, then I rake, rake, rake. You want to use your strings as stopping points while you're sweep picking. This is an aggressive picking technique, so you want to treat it as such. So you don't need to be gentle with this. You don't need to like barely hit them. Don't be afraid to go really aggressively into the next string. You just want to get that feel of the pick hitting the strings like that because it's different than playing a chord. You want it to be very purposeful and individual for each note that you're going to play. That's what gives you the accuracy and the actual sweeping sound when you're doing sweep picking. So all said and done, here's what this sounds like at full speed. I hope this helps you with sweep picking, and if you have any questions about this, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will try to answer them the best I can. I really appreciate all of you for watching, and I wish you all a great rest of your day.